That was a recap of some of the top stories we had during the last 1 week in showbiz and entertainment. Joining me in studio right now, I have the Pulse editor Stevens Mwendo plus Mito Smitten. So they'll just be reviewing and giving us their views on the news.
Smita, you look. I mean, Smita, you just showed up, and Tamima looking so flashy. I'm just thinking about that guy. He made a baby. He has a beautiful wife. And then in one show, he makes money that's worth a lifetime.
Thank you. $3 million.
You know, today I feel like I'm in between flowers. Steve in his red suit.
Come on,
and in your
now.
pink. Yeah, I feel like I'm just in a land of floral.
Okay, I'll take that as a compliment.
I take that as a compliment.
Yes, as well.
I'm not complimenting you.
All right.
So guys, you saw that the Channel O Music Video Awards, the nominations are out, and we were just discussing, we were just talking about it when the clip was running.
Right.
Nigeria has 20
Nigeria has 20. Kenya has 8.
Okay.
And we're talking about Kenya having 8. When I think for in a long time we have quite a number of artists, a variety of them, starting from STL, Punit, featuring Kolo, Ecstatic, and all those guys. Now making it to Channel O. We didn't have a lot of that last year, but now Nigeria they have 20. We have 8. Well, it's a move, but hey, we have a long way to go.
Can I be the pessimist here?
Right.
I kind of feel like Kenyans do get nominated for the Channel O Music Video Awards, but does anyone come home with an award?
I think we have had 1, 2.
1, 2, really? All those years?
For me, I'm just tired of Nigerians.
I know, right?
Seem to be over-rigging everything. A ratio of 20 to 8, it's like soccer, it's like being scored 5-2. Nigerians always sort of seem to channel their arrogance and their multitudes and their population into rigging everything.
But the
I like the fact. I like the fact that you say that, because the one thing that's very clear, whether the Kenyans do come home with the award is up to us. You can go on the Channel O website and please vote. We have STL, we have Ecstatic, we have Sauti Soul, we have P Unit. All these Kenyan artists have been nominated, and you guys, as their fans, do owe it to them to at least send an SMS. You know, just go click because they deserve it. I think over the last 1 year, we've seen quite an improvement in the quality of videos, in the kind of songs that people are doing. They're unique. They have a sound, right?
Tamima, think about it. Somebody like STL will have a Eurovision award for Norway or whatever Scandinavian country it is. And then the shelf is empty of a African continent award. That's irony.
In fact, I remember Amania has gone down for Channel Awards like 3 times and she came back with nothing.
Yes, that's the thing. We never win. We get nominated.
Amania is just the token Kenyan.
but
like we need a Kenyan, all of that goal, man.
I get it. But talking about all those things, we can bash about all that. But we're happy about our own Lupita. I mean,
I'm so proud of her, especially if you check that clip when they were rolling the credits. Lupita Nyong'o followed by Brad Pitt. That is a Kodak moment right there. I think she needs to just take a pic of that and hang it somewhere on her wall.
It's a big one for all of us. I mean, and she's been very consistent, and I think that's what Kenyan actors and actresses should also do. Very consistent and very focused in what she's doing, and she just hit the beat.
And you know, I love this statement because right now I'm sure there's so many young men, so many young women who are growing up and they're like, when I grow up, I want to be an actor. But right now, Lupita has shown you can be an actor, not just in, is it Kenwood? You can be an actor not just in Nollywood, but Hollywood. That is a statement.
And let me just deflect any criticism. Some guys may say, oh, Siji, her dad was a minister and everything. But there are so many people, so many ministers' kids, just hanging out there in Kilelesho, drinking.
But it's not even that.
Or forcing Lupita. Truly, I mean, she's super passionate. She's very, very dedicated, and that always gets you somewhere. Whether you're Octopizzo from, Kipera, just focused on your talent. I think she's shown grabbing every opportunity she has, but the total focus that young woman had. I did a Pulse interview years ago with her, and I remember
when she did Sugar. When she did Sugar,
we sat down and just listening to her. I mean, just from the CV, but just the raw passion. I was like, you. At that time, I was semi-joking. I was like,
you're going places.
I told her, you're going to end up in Hollywood.
And she did end up in Hollywood, right next to Brad Pitt. Lupita Nyong'o, guys.
Good. Another big story that you were rolling about the highest paid or the richest artists we have around.
They're all Nigerians.
You know, again, we go again, and I'm just thinking, our guys, what happens? We talk big, but we don't have the cash, is it?
Jaguar, do you think Jaguar makes the cut?
You know, I don't to discuss Jaguar at length. I know him too well, and we are on national TV.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had somebody whispering
but if you think Kigeugeu is all he does, then
I had somebody whispering about Chameleon, and I think that's one artist who
he deserves to be
around East Africa is a guy who has again been very consistent and be making the money anyway. I don't know what criteria they'd use for this, but if you were to ask me, I think Chameleon makes the mark. I don't know about our guys really. They could be on their way there, but East Africa, I think Chameleon really deserved to be.
And Diamond. But the thing about Nigerians, I think now the thing that sets them apart from the rest of the pack is the fact that they get paid in dollars.
Okay.
They don't get paid in IRAs. So that least everyone was just debanned.
Like, just think about what you have said right there. Exchange rates here. If you are paid 800 bob and the dollar, or you are paid $10, what's the difference?
No. When I say they get paid in dollars, I meant they get paid in dollars.
Paid.
Okay.
I get paid in Kenyan shillings. Probably we're not submitting our tax returns and all that.
Okay, so guys, let's take a look at the Nairobian. Let's just check out some of the stories that will definitely be trending. And they have a very interesting headline: Confessions of Devil Worshippers.
Right.
This is something that has always been whispered about.
Always.
So for me, I think that seeing it on a front page, slap there as a headline, there's definitely something to talk about. Devil worshippers. Smita?
Like I'm a devil worshipper.
No,
I'm just part of the Illuminati. That's why I'm into rock.
But wait, are the Illuminati devil worshippers?
No, you know, there's this fascination. It's just Kenyans' idea for obsession with shortcuts to wealth.
Okay.
Yeah. So everything has got an element of the cult about it. Guys like saying, oh, that one is a devil worshipper. Over here, either you're in corporates or you're in drugs. Yeah, there's nothing at Usiku that I'm removing a bit of your blood.
Let me just hold the two of you ransom for a minute here. Stevens, as the Pulse editor.
All right.
Let me hold you two guys ransom. Stevens is the Pulse editor. Smita, in all your years in entertainment. Yeah. So I'm just going to ask a question on behalf of the public.
All right.
Does the Illuminati exist in Kenya?
I think it's a creation of the people, and I won't say the media, or the people. Notice I didn't say the media. All these stories and the people that are said to be Illuminati, say the celebrities that we have, I can tell you most of those stories don't exist in the real life. I think there's a lot of buzz about. I want to make it through creating some controversy, and I have seen a few artists try that in our experience, like you say with Smita, and they use any other means, like the ladies would use nude photos just to make the card and be seen. The talk of Illuminati and our artists, likes of Octopizzo, for example, and all that, I think it's made up, and I think people make a lot of noise about it, and end of the day, the guy drops his video and people are thinking that Illuminati guy is making it big. I don't think they even know what Illuminati is.
We can all agree that the Illuminati does exist. It's just that our artists probably have not made the cut to that elite group, right?
Ask me again at 3 a.m.
Okay, then we have Beauty and the Bam. There seems to be a baby boom going on right now. We have some Kenyan personalities right there who are rocking their bams. And I think also Hollywood, we've seen quite a number of celebrities in Hollywood who have actually given birth. Yeah, it seems to be a baby boom all over the world.
And it's happening here too.
Okay.
I have a theory about this. There are a lot of babies born in September. It's very simple.
I know where you're going.
Remove 9 months and you're in holiday mode. Okay. Yeah. These are just people from between Jamhuri Day and the New Year drunkenness. Yeah. More babies are born in September than in any other month of the year.
Then something else that is definitely trending right now: Furious Sonko insults Kiss FM presenter Caroline Mutoko on air.
I saw that one.
Everyone is talking about this story. Everyone is talking about it.
It was a talking town yesterday.
Yes, on Twitter, everywhere. And you know what impressed me? Yeah, the Standard Digital Entertainment, that's SDE. You can go on www.sde.co.ke. They actually had the clip. So if you missed it, you can go on there and actually get to listen.
Always getting it right.
You know, these two personalities, they're so controversial.
Exactly.
And I'm happy they are clashing. You know, Caroline Mutoko is that chick who has made it a bit arrogant, slightly biatchy. Biatchy.
Come on.
In the CG lady boss is a biatch sort of way.
Smita, you just started a beef,
and then Sonko is this flashy sort of from Eastlands, to Westlands.
You're talking about my people.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So it's just a collision of worlds. Yeah?
But all I'm going to say, those are the moments that radio was meant for.
Right.
Yes.
Because everyone tuned in about that. But the guy that I do feel sorry for, Chipukizi.
Chipukizi again.
I don't feel very sorry for
Chipukizi.
Chipukizi
is there talking about he wants to date Sonko's and wants to kiss her, whatever it was.
To date Sonko.
Sonko's daughter, the beautiful daughter. And all that.
I thought Chipukizi said he wants to date Sonko.
And then the poor boy is asked, what did you just say? Yeah. And then he has to apologize again and all that. I mean, it's been an all mix of a week.
I felt like he got caught between two bulls.
Right.
And I like the fact that he knows his place. Because immediately he released a statement where he apologized to Sonko, saying that I respect you, I respect your daughter, I take back what I did say. Right. But I think everyone is waiting to see how the whole Caroline and Sonko
what if he made it? What if the poor boy, Chipukizi, and he said it before that he likes Sonko's daughter before and all that. What's just wrong with a young boy expressing his feelings and be caught in between?
You have to choose. You have to choose your words very, very carefully. Yes, depending on who you're dealing with. Then
you can't date a senator's daughter.
Yes, you can. But I think there's a place and time for everything.
There's a good process together, is it?
Protocol. Hata hapa unaweza patia mtu shout out.
Okay. Then we have a story here which says obesity fears in Eastleigh pushes demand for weighing scales. Okay, this is such a true story. Right now, not even town shopping malls, there's always a weighing scale. I think the gym frenzy, like a lot of Kenyans are very health conscious right now. People want to be fit, right? Not necessarily skinny, but fit. So I think that's a good side. Smita, you're smiling and very weird.
I'm smiling. Always tell guys, just drink enough vodka, it will burn everything.
Then here, a very interesting story still in the Nairobian city. Perhaps made me a heroin addict and a HIV victim. Right, so, and earlier this week, I actually had a young woman in studio, right, and hers was a double tragedy because she got pregnant at such an early age.
I recall them.
And from that process, she did actually get HIV/AIDS. And research has actually shown that there's a rise in infections, especially amongst the youth.
All right.
So guys, I'm going to challenge you, yes, because the youth do read the pulse.
Yes.
Maybe we can have some of those messages in there.
All those messages come to us, and all those messages are very special. Yeah. And I agree, but sometimes I think in the real life sense, as much as we agree with the story, sometimes you have to take responsibility and you ask yourself, yes, city clubs are meant for whoever goes there. Nobody forces you to go to a city club, and I wonder at what age that fella was talking about that could claim that the city clubs, for that matter, spoil her or whatever it was. Sometimes, so they say above 18, it's your life and you have the key to control it. Sometimes, even for the youth, as we even speak right now, don't blame people on miseries in your life that you created yourself.
And also, to also look at it another, Steve is very right about personal responsibility. There's also the purely biological factor of in the world has great periods, like bubonic plague in the Middle Ages, so this is the era. It's just nature's way sometimes, who knows why God made viruses, the useless little creatures. What's the purpose of a mosquito?
Smita, I want to ask you a question right now. Are you part of a cult? Are you part of a cult? Because you're trying to come up with a theory that you're saying all this is happening because someone is trying to cut down the human population.
No, naturalistic, just devastation. There were dinosaurs, they were wiped out from the sky. Okay. So sometimes we have to look at ourselves in life as just part of a great machine. Okay, but you hope you don't become a victim of the machine,
Okay, the lesson from everything that Smita has said is that with freedom comes great responsibility, and all actions have consequences.
Well
so please choose wisely. Do not fall for any of the vices that are there right now. Then we have a very interesting story, the graveyard paparazzi. Now, jobs. This is one of the few jobs. I actually respect these guys. They're hustling.
They're hustling.
Graveyard paparazzi. When you go for funerals, you at the end of the funeral, at some point, some guy will come and tell you, I have photos.
Right.
And they're hustling. I respect them. I don't know what you guys think about it.
I'll tell you, because I lost, and I don't long faces here, but you can M-Pesa me. I lost my brother last month, and I've taken, I think, Kenya's best photographer. The guy works for Pulse, Pius Cheriot. He went and did hundreds of pictures, and I'm here to get them because I haven't seen him yet. I'll get them maybe today. But that moment when I was standing and just contemplating that my kid brother is going into the earth, got all these guys, the photos are ready. Yeah. And one of my relatives was almost getting physical, but I understood exactly what you said. Because I was happy to get the immediate pictures.
They'd almost have an album right there.
Yeah, I was emptying my pockets. I was like, yeah, give me the pictures. I have immediate memories of the sad occasion. So
I think naturally Kenyans are hustlers, and if the camera would make money for you down the grave.
Yes.
Yeah. Why not? Yeah. I mean, why not? Yeah. Why not?
It's better than
Still in the Nairobian, we have the Heads Up by Kate Mukay. Yes. Then Judge Ian. Why are people blasting Ian about his grey hair? I mean,
people always blast Ian anyway because he blasts people himself.
That is grey hair. That's biology. You cannot help. Okay, probably you can if you buy dye.
Maybe they're just saying you have been down TPF for many years. Why can't you give weight for somebody else?
Really?
Was it meant for him though?
Okay. I'm gonna reserve my comments on that one. Let me have Ramanyang ties the knot and Sonko invest in bikini phones. So if you wanna check out what the phones look like, you have to pick up your copy of the Nairobian newspaper. Right. Yeah, just to have a look at that. Then we have an interesting story here on the First Lady, who was in Kianda, right? So she's saying Kianda taught me humility. Then also still in the Nairobian, we have quite an interesting, the campus vibe, the flavor of Chili Mango. You can catch your dose of what's happening in the fashion world. Yeah, Chili Mango, a very interesting fashion line. They actually have some really dope stuff, so you can check that still in your Nairobian newspaper. Then we have, you can read about the latest books as well. Get some relationship advice from Miss Mandy, right? So yeah, I guess that covers the Nairobian.
There's a lot of stuff for everyone.
I like that you skipped Miss Tam Tam.
No. Yeah. Oh yes, and of course I'm a columnist. Let me do this properly. And of course I'm a columnist in the Nairobian, so you can read my article every Friday only in the Nairobian. And also we have still here sports. I have to touch on sports. We have Money in the Clubs, Kenya's richest 5. So guys, who do you think are the Kenya's richest 5 footballers?
Kogalo. No, but we're talking about clubs now here.
Okay.
And we're talking about Kogalo being the richest club, and I agree. Quite a great following. Many funds and all
Kogalo
that.
is worth an estimated 65 million Kenya shillings.
Followed by AFC of Kuku People.
Okay.
And Thika. I think Thika United.
I think it's a good start, but I'm hoping probably in the next few years we'll not be talking about Kenya shillings. We'll be talking about dollars.
I told you I like being paid in Kenya shillings.
Dollar obsession.
Dollar obsession. Okay, so that's it for the Nairobi. Let's check out what's happening in the Pulse newspaper. So the Pulse, we have Emmy's Day. Now for Emmy's Day, I'm not going to touch on that right now because we have a 360 of Emmy's wedding in pictures because like you, I didn't get to go, but these two gentlemen with me in studio actually attended the wedding. So I'm going to ask them questions. How was it? How was the cake? Who was there? You know, the usual. So still in the Pulse, we have comedians. And I think we're a very good place with comedy as an industry because we're seeing a lot of young talent. Being picked up and actually getting recognition.
And young talent is part of what the Pulse is very good at making, and we have Sleepy there and
in Owago. Very funny guys. I've met them personally.
Very hilarious guys. Very young and hilarious. Sleepy was here this week. So I met him on the corridors and I was like, that's you. Then he just said like this cheeky smile and I thought, that's hilarious.
Sleepy is going to be waking up soon, so that's something that you definitely want to stay tuned to KTN for.
And guys also need to check out our very talented illustrator.
Who does this? Who does this?
It's Harry.
Wow.
It's Harry.
Wow.
It's just very, very funny.
Okay, I think it's only funny until the day you pick up the Pulse and you see yourself.
You see yourself.
As the character. So that's my way of saying, Steven, Smitha, can we just agree?
No. It's reverse psychology. Tamima is a very clever person. So
Okay, moving on, still in the Pulse. You can catch we have here some Picharazi pics where celebrities are caught unawares. We have Lilian Muli and Mike Sonko, quite interesting. I think this was at the Mwafaka Awards, right?
Did he insult at the Mwafaka Awards?
No, really.
The word that
actually, when he came with bundles of money. He actually came and poured money for guys, and but there he was.
It's a good thing that you raised that because still going back to that, let me call it a beef. Between Caroline and Sonko, and of course right now in Nairobi there are two sides. This team Caroline, this team Sonko. So I don't know why you guys lie. And I don't want to get into that, but I just want to ask you.
I can say you're dividing my people for starters.
Okay, because you're good from the stage.
True.
No, but still, back to the point, because there was a root to this whole fiasco, right? Caroline felt that probably the whole idea of dishing out handouts is not the best way to help people for a long-term solution. And he was like, people need help right now, and I'm doing what I can the best way I know how. Right? Yes. So what do you think is the middle ground between these two?
Can I go fast? Can I go fast? There's no support in whoever it is. Everybody, they have their right to their opinion. But if you ask me, and this story was a very big story that was running in our papers last week. Actually, two of the counties had it, and the Nairobian had it. How guys are lining up outside Sonko's office, and actually even up to Sunday when we were doing Mafaka, Sonko had people lining out his office, giving proposals of what they want done for themselves, and proposals of, if you give me this for a business plan, I will be able to execute it. And I had a chance to just be part of the moment. I wasn't really lining up to go for cash or that.
Yes.
Thank God for a good job. Thank God for a good job. But these are guys what you're told in the next 6 months or 8 months, I want you to come back and tell me what you did with what I gave you. You know, and if that's not really helping Kenyans, I don't see what else and how we can appreciate Sonko for what he's doing with his millions.
But I think just in the spirit of cooperation, because personally I believe that they are both right. They both represent two different ideologies. Precisely. So it would be very nice if they sat down at a table, and next week we see a very happy headline. Not as Wakambas, as public figures and opinion leaders, and actually see that's a very nice headline that says Sonko and Caroline have agreed that right now the best way to help Kenyans, Caroline will do this for Sonko, Sonko will do this for Kenyans.
Again, it's that you've put it so well, clash of ideologies. Sonko, it's the African immediate help. Here I am,
which you have to respect, because not many people have that.
Yes. Caroline Mutoko is this corporate, which is good. 2013 mentality that we need structures, institutions in place. So it's a collision of worlds.
But there needs to be a middle ground. So moving on, still in the Pulse Review, we have a member of Camp Mula. So they broke up. Miss Karun has left the country, and there is one who's always getting in fights.
This guy.
Don't ever invite
this guy. No, well, Kus is a guy who's coming from the Kibukosias family, the great family, and he has a great story because he's the guy behind all the videos. He's part of the production team, and he's there. And the controversy around him was the way he's always around the streets. Sometimes they are caught by pews, just having a good time with his girlfriend, and I think that makes a base.
So he's dating the chick that we were reading about in the blogs.
He's the one.
Good to know. And still in the Pulse, you can check out what you can catch on KTN Straight Up Live tomorrow morning. Ian will be hanging out with Shafi Weru, DK Kwenye Beat, and Edward Kwach. So it's going to be a very interesting show, so you don't want to miss that. Straight Up Live, KTN, Saturdays 11 a.m. And the topic that everyone is talking about, Amy on Nigerian tune. So the Pulse has quite an interesting splash right there. You see the happy couple, you see their bridesmaids, you see Amy with her family. So I'm going to skip this for now because we're going to be doing a special 360 on Emmy's wedding just for you. Then still in the Pulse, we have the attitude page, and I like the fact that this week you've concentrated on the guys. So if you're a young fella and you probably want to land on Tujuane and you're wondering what to wear, pick up the Pulse. I'm going to give you some tips on what to wear. Now,
why did you say want to learn about Tujuane?
Tujuane, because that's where young people find love.
Is it? And
celebrity
wood.
And celebrity wood.
What happened to just hanging around the club like a vulture? That's how I found my wife.
You found your wife? Okay, we're coming to that. Hold that thought.
We also
now,
come to that.
Wangoi Gitonga, Miss Kenya, she's off representing Kenya at the global pageant. Now this lady, I just want to send out an appeal for her. You know, when she got crowned, there was this whole hate on Twitter. Right? And
what do you mean on Twitter? Even it was on my column.
Okay, fine. You were one of those people. I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to pray for you, sweetheart. Right? But the point is,
Miss Menopause.
And I think this is when our respect comes into play. She has the title, right? So people hated, but hey, she still has the title. She's still representing Kenya.
She's Miss Kenya.
Yeah, she's Miss Kenya. So people need to give her that respect, that support, because we're the same ones who'll come back a few months down the line and go like, oh, Kenya never even goes anywhere in this title. So if we may not agree, but who got selected? But bottom line is
here, and I can't afford to be nice. I cannot afford to be nice. Can you imagine a nice meter?
Let it rip.
Watch Oyo and Indonesia. Let her show bikini. Let those guys who speak like let them run after her. and remove reduce men.
Thank God Miss Kenya left on Monday for
and I wish her the best.
On 28th.
No, the guys, Smita's school of thought.
Right.
So I think that next year when you're talking about Miss Kenya, we don't have this same conversation. This is what I'm going to say to all the beautiful young ladies out there, because he feels they are prettier ladies than her. So I'm going to challenge you guys. The next time you hear that the Miss Kenya franchise is auditioning, please step out. Yeah, I'd rather say that we have 10 beauties and we are spoiled for choice.
All right.
As opposed to now saying everyone going like, was that really the best that Kenya could do?
Yes.
But I support and I do wish her the best.
50% plus one.
Then nipped in the bud.
Yeah, nipped in the bud. I've been waiting for the nipped in the bud. When the clips are showing, I just heard one of our crew guys talking about nipped in the bud.
I want to challenge Steve. Do you like these big butt babes? Because there's an obsession.
I think. Listen, I'm just going to be very politically correct.
Yeah. Right.
I love Vera. Yes, she's very nice. If you've met her, she's very nice. She's very smart. She's very kind. But I'm a bit concerned that right now there is a precedent being set that for young women to make it in showbiz, like the new claim to fame is I have a big butt.
Yeah.
I don't know, like I come from a background where I was taught you have to work hard.
You come from a background. Great, yeah? A background where you have to work hard.
Tamima, the whole story, and Austin puts in a very good way, is our celebrities worldwide, and like you say, have all this clamor for, let me push the back or behind the future and all that to this level, and it's working for them. For example, Farah just came back from Ghana only a week ago and crisscrossed to Nigeria, where she's meeting all those millionaires we're talking about right now and making money through her looks and through being a video fix and that you created her also during your show. And if you can make it that way,
I like how you threw it back to me during your show.
If that is what is making the money for her, maybe other women would be doing that for their own other reason and stuff. But if it's working for the celebrities and stuff, and it's their health and it's their belief, I'm with them.
Smita?
I'm with them.
I don't know. I find it a bit gross. Yeah, I find big bottoms gross. And I have a saying about this. The more underdeveloped the bottom line of a country, the more overdeveloped the bottoms.
There you go.
Of its women. I mean, look at like aborigines.
That was very poetic. Yes. Now I get why you're a wordsmith.
Yes.
But because I think
but with a double T. But
no nipped.
Oh, no.
It's a great story. I think this is for the guys to read.
Just stop. I think this has to be said because there are a lot of young girls who are growing up and they're probably watching. Right. I'm just gonna put it out to them, right? It doesn't last for long. Yeah, it's a 1 minute thing. It's an instant. It's a quick fix to getting fame. But think about it this way: 10 years, 20 years down the line, everyone is going to be talking about the likes of Wangari Maathai. Who's going to be talking about the socialites we're seeing on the scene right now?
Kwanza that bat will be sagging because of gravity.
Thank you.
You know, it's a big burden.
So if there's any girl,
small girls, listen to me.
Hard work pays.
Keep your butt small so that it gets bigger with age. By the time you are killed off.
On this one, I'm going to be a dictator.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to be a dictator on this one. I'm going to say hard work pays.
Hard work pays.
All young ladies, yes, who are out there, hard work really does pay, right?
Yeah.
So this quick, you know, like, Diamond came to Kenya, I hung out with him, now I'm a celebrity. It lasts 4 minutes.
Right.
2 weeks down the line, no one remembers your name.
Okay.
People have to go back to doing something, be recognized for doing something. But I think it comes down to you guys. You need to stop writing about them.
Tamima, but I think we're missing a point at all still. I think we're missing a point here. But there are those guys who are naturally talented. I mean, with the back and the behinds and stuff.
I think Steve likes big butt.
Let's do this.
And I said, you want to put me on the small line. Let guys be as God created them naturally. I know technology is here with us and all that. I am naturally who I am and what I am. Let guys just be who they are. But whoever has extra money to create something out of their life and make money, let them be.
I do realize I'm outnumbered because I'm sitting with 2 guys on this couch.
I don't like big butt chicks. But you are a guy with a big butt.
Smita, my set. Right now I'm going to be a dictator. Okay. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw it back to the audience. Yes, I'm going to throw it back to the audience. So go on Twitter. That you can tweet me at Mr. Mima, you can tweet us at The Morning Express, at KTN Kenya. Let us know what your views are on some of the topics that we are discussing this morning. So moving on, we have, it's the WAGs, not the players, that call the shots. Now I like this story because it just really lives up to that saying that behind every successful man there's a woman.
There's a woman.
Yeah. So apparently it's the wives who decide whether the guy gets to move to the next club or not, which I understand because they have families.
All right.
Yeah. We can't just be uprooting our kids every time you decide you want to go play in a different club.
And Tony Gary puts it in a very good way. Our banter actually in the paper, and he has a number of guys who had issues making transfers because the work said, hey dude, there's nowhere you're going, or you are not going without me, and stuff like that. I find it a very interesting read. It's a very interesting read.
So I love you guys. So of course we still have here Wing Weke, Brian Weke. He has a very interesting ride, and it actually has his number plate, so Weke 1. So when you see that on the road, it's
Weke
actually
1. That's Weke moving.
Or the other Weke, so he had to clarify his Weke 1.
His Weke 1. He has a number of these vintage and it's in the story, and he says I like vintage stuff, and he likes the Mercedes-Benz, and he goes talking about the 124, and he says this one I had to look for it for many years, and now he says actually I'm looking for the former president's Mercedes-Benz, the one he used to have. He says when I get that's my dream car, and I think he knows what he wants. Weke 1, so Weke 2, Weke 6. So he's doing
just
Weke
to clarify
6, 7.
for anyone who's watching, we have Weke 1 till Weke 10, Weke 9, Weke 8.
He said he has like 7 cars.
So there's Weke 1 to Weke 7.
He has Wekes. Just say he has Wekes.
Okay. So and one of the biggest stories this week, Dilish and her father. So we learned Dilish is actually Kenyan. Now we can lay claim to her.
Absolutely.
Just balance the scale. Since we lost Emmy, now we get Dilish, right?
Yes, fantastic. I like it. Absolutely.
No, since we don't even have Obama, we have Dilish. Is in the same case?
No, Obama is ours.
Obama was already ours.
Is it?
Yeah. So this is just a new one we added.
Nigerians steal from us. We go screw the Namibians.
but let me ask you the big story as it arose, and I think you'll come back to that.
And I think it's a story also. You met Dilish.
Dilish, you were with. I have evidence with photos and all that.
Seen her up. Yes. She is gorgeous.
Dilish is very gorgeous, but above that, I think she's very intelligent. She's very bright. I just like the way she could handle questions from paparazzi when she won, and as opposed to those, whoa, I have won and all that. She was very composed, not so emotional, and saying, I'm here. I come from a very humble background. Like we'd see now where she's coming from, and she says my concentration is about taking care of my siblings and my mom and all that.
I wish I had a Bible. You know what I would do to your headline? I would just rub it off and write, first Kenyan to win Big Brother is to meet with her father. That should be the headline, because she's now the first Kenyan.
Yes, I think the biggest effort we can now do as Kenyans now, if this is justified that this guy actually is a father, is Tomba Serekali come up with an old team, go to Namibia.
Didn't you watch the clip when he was talking to the mother? And for me, I was so impressed because they were flirting, and I was like, okay, are the sparks flying here again?
I mean, these are guys who have been involved before. I mean, what do you expect?
This is a great romance. We left at the airport, a soldier in a foreign land. Yeah.
So Stephen, we're going to task you with following up this story.
Bring Dilish back home.
Bring Dilish back home.
Okay. Starting a campaign. The other one was bring Zach home.
Yeah, Zach went to South Africa. But I mean, and we find Zach on the API.
As you talk about all the gossip right there, I just want us to have a minute on that.
Yes.
They're all feeling of Kenyans and them talking about where has this guy been all these years? How comes he never made an effort to find out this mama and the baby that was coming? Why are you showing up when this girl has already 25 million shillings and all that? What is the moral standing of all those things?
I'd say this. I respect. Okay, life happens in a lot of instances. Right. So for Guyo, for me, I think it would be such a huge statement if all he wants to do is meet his daughter, and not ask for a single cent.
Which is it?
But then there's the other side, and I think that's what everyone is talking about. So let's just give the guy the benefit of the doubt and see how this story plays out. Because she's a smart lady, as you said.
Yes.
So even her, she'll be thinking, so right now you show up 25 years later when I have 25 million Kenya shillings.
And a very rich boyfriend for that matter.
Yes. Oh, really?
Yeah. He's called Steven. He's just like me.
Good omen.
The guy was there in Big Brother, very composed, again, never emotional. And when we asked him about Dilish winning all this money, he said, I've seen a lot of money before, and she knows it. And I have no business with her little money. She's still a young girl growing up. If she wants to marry me, she'll marry me, but I've been supporting her since then. And I found that, again, very special. And so for this guy, again, if he just wants to meet his daughter and let her be and let the family be, then let
Kenyans like jumping in, because this girl wants to meet the dad. She's invited him, right, for the birthday. I think it's on 10 days time.
Right.
We like Mshenera just ingiliari like domestic.
Hold that thought.
So many opinions.
Hold that thought.
Yes.
This from the paparazzi. Actually, we like Mushene.
Yes.
Hold that thought.
Yes.
Stop talking.
That's so self-ironic.
Yes, very ironic.
Me, I'm a hater, but
now,
I'm paid. At least be paid. Steve paid me quite well.
Okay, Smita, stealing overheard. Now, I'm just going to run through the headlines, some of them. DNG is still buying alcohol for friends, and you guys actually have a photo. So if you want to read all about that, and who snobbed Jaguar? Wow, Jaguar was snobbed. This one I have to ask. Please explain.
I think there's more gossip than that, and sometimes I just let people just read for them, because hey, we are selling the pearls. I mean, it's
but
the
this
hot
one,
magazine in town.
this one I have to ask.
Yes.
So Willy Paul is dating a white girl.
Willy Paul shows up at Mwafaka, and he has these 3 chicks, and they're white chicks.
3 white girls.
3 white girls wearing his t-shirts and stuff, and he just have all the swag and you know Willy Paul as it is.
But you know what I love about Willy? He said that yes, this is the girl that I'm dating, but I'm celibate.
Okay.
Yeah. So I respected that.
Do you? Let me tell you.
Smita,
wait.
What we are going to do
Paul,
for the sake of Willy Paul?
You're finishing. Willy Paul kept some of us awake in Meru, singing in the shower. He's singing over lunchtime. I got so
You're talking about Safaricom Live.
Safaricom Live. I was like, dude, if all of us start pretending that he wants us to notice, I told him Safaricom is no longer paying you right now. It's lunchtime. Na tunataka kuona KTN news. It was KTN news.
Smita, what I'm going to tell you right now, you know that thing that they say when you have it, you want it. So I'm on Willy on this one. So Willy, if you can sing on, brother. Okay. Now moving on.
Tamima, I'm with you on that because I think the guy was making a show, and that this Mafaka, and it is a time when actually he was winning one of the biggest awards that time, and he said he comes and makes a very well choreographed dance with all the kids and all that, and then he shows up with this and says, you know what, very soon we are going international. So everybody's thinking, international, is she supposed to be your wife, or is she supposed to be what? And he left everybody at that, and I loved that bit of everybody's in this illusion.
You know what, I'm just going to send out an invite right here right now to Willy Paul. Willy, I think you need to come over in the studio and explain yourself. Who are the white girls? And Willy, I do love you, and I think that you can sing. So I'd also love to have him in studio singing as well. But on that,
Willy, I don't like you at all, but
Smita Hash. So moving on. Now, one of the biggest stories over the last 1 week was Emmy Kosgei's wedding. Now, a lot of people had different comments about this wedding, and what I'm gonna say, wahenga walisema watasema watachoka, na watu walisema wamechoka, na sasa hivi Emmy ameolewa. But in case you missed the wedding like myself, I'm gonna do a 360 on that wedding. I have some pictures. And Stevens, you went for the wedding?
Yes.
Smita, you were not invited?
Of course not. Yes. Gospel people don't like you.
Evidently.
And the feeling is mutual.
I think a lot of people don't like you. But hey, anyways, so Emmy's wedding, apparently she landed in a chopper.
Yes.
Wow. So just Emmy or the groom?
Emmy, I just want to break it in a very short while. We are like 250 of us down the pool, waiting for Emmy. The whole team is there, and whoever who is in Kenyan's politics and religious circles, and they're there. And this little thing is just flying over us, and we're at Windsor. I mean,
it happened at Windsor.
Yeah, it was at Windsor.
So there were choppers, there were Range Rovers. I'm seeing a whole lineup of Range Rovers.
All those things, and she comes there. Our father and mother were driving in one of those Porsche cars, and Emmy drops, and paparazzi are there just taking photos and all that. And I think it was a very spectacular moment, right? Spectacular
is the word. I think she's our Kenyan princess, and for the next 5 minutes, we are going to look at the photos from her wedding. There is Emmy with her parents, and for me, if you're looking at that photo, look at the resemblance between Emmy and her mother. It's amazing. You know, and there she is with her father as well, and her gown. I know a lot of people want to see what was she wearing. So Stevens, because you were there, if you had to put if you had to give me a figure, what was the bill for this entire wedding?
They put it at 10 million.
10 million?
But when we actually inquired from the guys organizing, they kept it at 3.5, the entire wedding. They just
3.5 million shillings.
3.5.
And this is wedding 1. She still has another wedding coming up in Nigeria.
This is wedding 2 because
this is wedding 2. She had a previous one?
Yes, the traditional one that was happening the Thursday before.
So only Emmy Kosgei gets married 3 times.
3 times, and this is happening again on 15th this month.
What are we doing here? Why can't we become preachers? Watu wapande mbegu. Kwanza you would be a good televangelist. You already are used
Tamama is making it through TV, I can tell you.
Tamama,
they'll not
become a televangelist.
Wow.
Forget Friday morning. Sunday mornings is the deal.
Moving on, still on Emmy's wedding. Let's check out some of the pictures about the celebrities that she had at her wedding, who was part of her lineup. We had Kambua as well.
Yeah.
Part of her lineup.
Eunice Njeri.
And that is the dress. That is the dress. I wonder how much that dress cost.
The peacock was just moving across.
Do you know how much that dress cost her?
We tried to inquire again. No figures were given us to us, but we were told Emmy had to fly all the way to London to fit this and come back for it to be shipped in or flown in a week's time.
So since she's had 3 weddings, does it mean that at every wedding she's wearing a different dress?
I can confirm, yes. It has to be a different thing.
Well, then those are the grooms, the Nigerian brothers. They just look Nigerian to me.
They were there feeling really hot and proud and all that, and we are feeling hot and proud too.
They look like they're selling something to me.
Okay, so my director is just saying, but they are hot. So certified, they are hot. Moving on.
You should have seen the shoes. You should have seen the. I don't know if you missed the cable shoes.
Moving on, I think we also have the bridesmaids. So how many people were at this particular wedding? This is wedding number 2.
250. The reception was 500 people.
So there we have Kambua, and the lady next to Kambua, that is?
I just know Eunice is just looking at that.
We have Joy, we have Kambua, and then we have Eunice Njeri as well, who is part of the lineup.
And not to forget that the talking point of the wedding again was Esther Wahome, who was expected to make part of this, and she was just in the crowd. And just when we asked her later, she said, "Yeah, I was supposed to be part of this." She's a mentor. End of the day.
That is gossip right there. So Esther, who is Emmy's friend, that's Esther Wahome. She was supposed to be one of the bridesmaids, but then when you get there, Esther is not one of the bridesmaids.
Well, she says she wanted to lay back and watch her daughter just have a good time and a good day.
I just don't believe
as
that.
As opposed to a lot of critics, people talking points and stuff. But I leave it to the people. Just
so is she going to be a bridesmaid at the next wedding in Nigeria?
I have no idea though.
I doubt it.
No, I don't see why it should happen in Nigeria when it should have happened here at all.
Okay, then since she's getting married in Nigeria, is she going to fly everyone from Kenya to Nigeria?
The cards are already out. I mean,
so are you invited?
Yes, I am.
Okay, moving on. We have photos now.
As a past editor, though.
Stevens, you make the friends, I'll make the enemies.
All right. That's a good deal.
Now, I know a lot of guys are wondering about the groom. There we have Emmy, who is doing what exactly, Stevens?
That was a certificate. That was a wedding certificate. Marriage certificate for the matter, and she was looking for a safe place to keep it, like they always say in church. So she was keeping a place where Nairobi robbery cannot happen.
Socks.
So
she was put in somewhere.
How old is the groom?
We're keeping it at 55, 60.
Wait.
That is a man. Why do you want to know an age of a man? I mean, like they say, why do you want to know an age?
But Emmy is 31.
It's 33. 33. Yes.
Okay, so let's just say it's twice her age, 66.
Okay.
No, it's the birds of a feather.
There is the lovely couple.
This was created in heaven, like they say.
There is the lovely couple exchanging a nice,
passionate moment.
And the wedding theme song was "I'm in love with a man who's twice my age."
It wasn't the wedding. There were beautiful songs.
Then there is the couple once more.
Those are passionate moments.
But she looks happy, and I think people should just be happy.
I think that's what matters.
At
the end of the day.
Yeah.
Is it?
And she said it herself, like, I mean, she's been here all these years. Everyone who's wooed her, like, she's just not felt that they can handle her.
Tamaima,
and now she's found someone who can.
These days, the little blue pills. So akunanga shida.
Forget that. But Emmy, a very strong point that she made also was that young boys. I'm here. I have found myself a love and a man, and I think that's what matters. That she's happy, and we all wish her well.
So there is the bridal party. So we have Kambua there looking quite radiant as well. Emmy Kosgei with her husband, and they look so cozy. Look at that.
They are cozy, of course.
Yeah, I don't know what the hullabaloo is about. So is she going to live in Nigeria once she's done
Emmy left last night for Nigeria to prepare for all that. I know they're going for a honeymoon. Okay. And they're back to Nigeria on the 13th, 14th, around there, before the wedding on the 15th. Okay. And the twist is that now Emmy, who used to be the biggest gospel artist for that matter around East Africa, actually in Africa, that is what I think that's why we are talking much. She's no longer Kenyan. She's going to live in Nigeria, and our first show is gonna be in Russia. You can read it in Pulse today.
That said, I think we should get Project Bring Delish to Kenya now.
We cannot lose all the time.
Yeah. So that was an interesting hour. We're just reviewing some of the top stories in showbiz and entertainment, what is trending and what people are talking about. But right now, we're going to go on a very short commercial break. We'll be right back.
Right.